Welcome to Bendy. Join your two favorite transatlantic weirdos, Andy from Ireland and Beth from the USA, as we take you on a journey through every topic imaginable, with insight, vulnerability, and fart jokes, or in other words, the complete human experience.
Hello, and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible in all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your jovial, somber hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other jovial and somber host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always.
Jovial and somber?
I thought I would like, the yin and the yang, right? To sum up the entirety of the complex festive period.
It's true. It is joyous and it is somber. It is like joyous, and it's just that time of year where everyone is a giant stress ball.
Yeah. And it's also because, like, I'm speaking purely of our weather. It's, generally speaking, the weather tends to be colder, the nights are darker. It just kind of exudes that somberness,
They, air quotes, they say that, like, this is the time to go and plant your seed, like your spiritual seeds for what you want to grow in the spring, and it's a time to reflect and be cozy and warm in your house. And I'm just like, I hate it.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to leave. Get me out of here.
Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Those jerks, what do they know?
I know, right?
Tell us what to do. You tell me what to do. So Beth, what is the crack with you?
What is the crack? Okay, well, I'm rehabilitating a toad.
Ooh.
I know. I found it in the sunroom, which is like, it's not heated. There's a doggy door. It's like a room, but it's an outdoor room. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's like connected to the house, and they built onto, like, the people that had the house built on this like roof and then this like awning. None of that matters. So the toad got in through the doggy door, I'm guessing, and I didn't know it was there. And then I had a mouse that was like eating the dog's food, and because I forgive me if I already talked about this, but like the mouse went into all of I keep my like special box of like all my like memory box and all that stuff, and like my yoga stuff in the sunroom, and it went, and like I opened it up and there was like mouse poop everywhere, and I was like, oh damn it. And I love me a good mouse. Like, I'm not into like killing mice or anything, but I don't want my high school music tickets from like the fish show to get eaten or whatever.
Yep.
And I opened it. This is a really long story about how I'm rehabilitating a toad.
That's all right. They love this.
But it was full. It was full of dog food, and I was like, "Who put dog food in my like most private stuff?" And then I noticed there was a hole in the box. So this mouse that's like this big had been moving the dog food.
Wow!
Like,
into that box.
Probably like 3 cups of dog food, and I was like, "Wow, she's going through that food fast. Like, she must be eating a lot." So I had to like clean everything and like decontaminate it, hazmat, and I don't want to get hantavirus and all of that. And so when we got the mouse out, he ran back out through the doggy door, and he was so scared. I felt so bad. I was like trying to catch it in like a little hand towel, and then I was like, maybe I'll keep it. Maybe it just needs a home. I can give it a box where it can eat dog food. So then, like, a couple days later, things are, like, there's poop in the sunroom again. I'm like, what is happening? But the poop looks different. And I'm like, And then I look behind. I just looked, and I was like, there's a giant toad. It's big. It's, like, this big. It's, like, the size of my 2 palms together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I picked it up, and I was like, oh, this feels really, like, it didn't pee on me. And I was like, must be a very dehydrated toad, because they pee on you. That's their, defense mechanism. Smart. So when you're in trouble, Andy, you just pee. Just pee.
But Beth, I'm all over it. I've been doing it for years.
So we got the toad. I'm feeding it mealworms. Apparently, they like to sit in water and they poop in their own water. And so but it's like, it like doubled in size. So it was so dehydrated. So
Wow.
I'm feeding it, and we're probably going to let it go today. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's lovely.
And then, yeah, so that's the big news. And then Mike is traveling again, and he's back in Vegas. The poor man. He's just like, this place again.
Breaking his heart.
But he took a photo of the sphere. Have you seen?
Oh, yes, I have.
It looks, I'm going to send them to you because it just looks so cool. I was like, that looks bomb. He was like, next time we go. I'm like, I'm never going. But
like, I've seen the video of, like, they have like the wee sun graphic in the outside of it, that it wakes up and it looks around and things like that. But I also saw U2's the inside of it when U2 were doing like one of the sort of debut gigs in there, and it looked pretty incredible. So yeah, I'm curious about it, but like also, you know, it looked like it would be quite overwhelming to kind of be inside, you know.
Yes.
But you know,
kind of like an IMAX theater where you always feel like you're gonna like fall sideways.
Like as soon as we got IMAX, because we hadn't had it for years. I mean, we had there was some in Dublin, but like there was none sort of in Northern Ireland for a long time. And as soon as we got it, I was like, I'm gonna be there all the time. But I go maybe once a year, maybe. Just can't be bothered.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the crack with me. What's the crack with you?
I guess, you know, things are starting to wind down early-ish for Christmas and things like that. So I have been doing sort of some of my last few sort of pet therapy sessions on the run up to Christmas, and they've been really good fun. I think did I talk about this before, that the kids are like giving me gossip and stuff now? Maybe I did.
You did? Oh my God, you were supposed to give us an update.
I was. Well, there you go. It was a perfect time.
Okay.
So, I think the last time we talked about it, they were going out to the cinema together, and
maybe
it was brothers that were interested in her, one older, one younger.
Yes.
And the cinema trip was uneventful. I got an update on that. And then, since then, the most recent update I've got is that one of them, one of the brothers, I think the younger brother, he was trying to, like, act the big man, as we call it over here. It takes the CFR a slang episode, and trying to kind of insert himself in social situations and stuff like that, and it has not gone down well. So, yeah.
Is it making her uncomfortable?
Yeah, it seems to be, yeah, which is unfortunate. But I think that she was just, but I love that she kind of immediately started telling me this sort of stuff, and just sort of gives me these updates, you know. But it's so
trusted friend.
It is. It's really nice. But so I'm gonna miss them. But that's just kind of on the kind of wrap up towards Christmas thing, because they're all kind of doing exams, I think, or whatnot in the next few weeks.
How much time do you guys get off? Do they get off from school?
For over Christmas, I think it's 2.5 weeks. I want to say at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's about the same.
Yeah.
It's like a week. It's like 2 weeks, but then they get off like early on Friday, and they don't have to be back until like the following. So it's like 17 days or something.
It's the understanding that like. On the lead up to Christmas, you're just not going to be doing very much either. There's like a week where it's just like, let's watch Christmas movies or things like that. They were some of them were doing like a media studies class, and they were telling me that they're just like watching full episodes of TV shows, and I'm like, that sounds like the teaching job for me.
Yeah, I had a teacher in high school, and she won teacher of the year. Shout out to Barb Murray at Westland High School. I love you. And with that money, because she got like a monetary award, and with part of that money, she bought every single episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And so we would be like reading Gilgamesh, and she would be like, I have an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation that has to do with this. Let's watch it. And so like, that's half of what we did. It was so great.
That's amazing. I love it. That's fantastic.
And that's why I'm a Trekkie.
Yeah.
And then she had like, who's the Klingon guy?
Worf?
Yeah. She met Worf, and that was like that was her meeting like the most, that was she was like, I have to show you this picture of what happened this weekend. It was like her and like the dude who plays Warp, and she was dying. Like,
That was
total
like you,
fangirl.
it was like you meeting Ram Dass or something like that, and that sort of level.
Yes,
you know,
yes, yes.
Before, obviously.
Right. To be like, ran into a dead guy today.
Hey, if anybody's going to do it, Ram Dass is going to do it, right?
It's true.
But yeah. So I guess the other question I got to ask you, Beth, is what's been occurring?
Well, so I'm listening to the people, listening to what y'all are saying. More Sasha requests.
Hell yeah.
People want the Sasha, so I'm working on harvesting Andy's social media accounts.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on there.
I also put information about CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, on the website. And it is our 10th episode of Bendy. So we've actually been doing this for 10 weeks.
Yeah. Woohoo!
So go, woohoo!
Fireworks!
Fireworks! Pew, pew, pew. So congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to you too.
Well, it's like we're doing something and we're sticking with it.
Yes. Which is hard. That's the hardest thing, is like keeping going. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's fun. It's like, it's morphing. I feel like we're starting to like find our rhythm a little bit.
Very much so.
And getting an idea of what the heck we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, and I think people are responding to it, which is lovely. Yeah, it's really great. So yeah, go us.
Go us. And go listeners. Like, you guys are spreading the word, and
yes.
It's appreciated. So
we really do appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you so much, folks.
And I do. I love, like, people comment and I get to respond, and just, you know, the community that we wanted to build, I think it's starting to happen, and that's exciting. So
it's like,
yeah,
it's good because it also forces me to work myself, because like normally if like somebody pays me a compliment or says something nice, I want to kind of just like push their face away from me. So I have to like be like, thank you,
and then pee your pants.
I'm pee my pants, and then just decide, you know, every fiber of my being resisting the thank you. Like, I want to say a thank you from my heart, truly, but you know, it's just not my natural instinct.
Right. Well,
so yes, thank you.
Exercise that tiny muscle.
Take a breath. Respond with kindness.
Right. Maybe return a compliment.
Yeah. Well, that's one step at a time.
Okay, you're right. Getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, exactly.
So, our topic this week is the festive season. And I just want to preface this by saying the word holiday means very different things in our countries, or opposing countries, or different countries.
Yeah.
So holiday in your lexicon means vacation.
Yes, it does.
Holiday in our lexicon means actual festive event days.
Yeah, like Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Does Halloween count as a holiday?
Yeah. They're all kind of like sweets is everything in your country. Holiday is like every single holiday. Yeah. That we celebrate something.
I'm trying to wonder if there is a specific word that we have. It's not springing to mind for like those sorts of periods of time in this country, but I don't think so. But yeah, I have seen that because like I do see it in how a lot of American films are titled and things like that. It's very much the holidays is a specific thing, a specific event.
Yeah. So here we go. We're heading into the end of the year celebrations, and then the beginning of the new year celebrations. So, and I guess that comes with.
Exactly, and we want to talk about just that in terms of both, because it's good to talk about it, because it's good and it's bad, you know, and obviously depending on where you're at, where you're from, all of those things, and I think it's nice to kind of bring a wee bit of attention to it, maybe have a bit of fun with it, but also. One of the things we talked about as well was that, you know, from our point of view, when we think about the festive period, we're thinking, well, even for us it's a little bit different, but we're thinking Christmas primarily, we're thinking probably Thanksgiving as well for our US folks, But, we would absolutely love to hear if you have a different concept of what festive means, what this time of year means. If you could, tell us about that, we'd absolutely love to hear it.
Yeah. And I read that there are 15 different holidays for different denominations and countries that are happening during that time period.
Oh, incredible.
So, yeah. So, I'm going to do a little digging into what those are because I'm just curious. And
absolutely.
no wonder everyone freaks out this time of year. It's not just, the people that celebrate Hanukkah or the people that celebrate Christmas. And Hanukkah is it's not, it's not their biggest holiday.
Yeah. But I think it's just because it gets lumped in with Christmas, which is this juggernaut of a holiday that just kind of
sure does suck. It's like the black hole holiday.
It's like a black hole holiday. Yeah, it is.
Christmas, the black hole holiday.
Oh, Christmas.
Yes.
You fiend. But I suppose, no, I won't get I'm going to get cynical immediately. I suppose the reason why Christmas is probably as popular, as big as it is because it encourages spending more than any other
I agree with
holiday,
that.
right?
I agree with that.
That's always going to draw more attention. But yeah. So, the first thing what I was going to ask you about was it's for us, increasingly it has become, once we get to Halloween, there seems to be this, it's just like, okay, we're setting up for Christmas now. And it's 2 months of slowly building up. You start seeing Christmas things appear in shops and stuff like that. You're increasingly seeing Christmas decorations go up earlier and earlier in the year. It's people are starting to put them up at end of November. It makes some people furious whenever they go up early, which kind of makes me want to do it more. But is it like that in the US? Is it more kind of is it Thanksgiving to Christmas? Is this kind of big sort of squishy period of time that all kind of merges in to each other, or do you start feeling that from Halloween too?
Literally Halloween, a few days before Halloween even. So I just, real quick, what holiday do you celebrate? Do you celebrate, or I mean, what festive event do you celebrate?
I guess just Christmas Day. Boxing Day's more of a thing in the UK as well.
What is Boxing Day?
So Boxing Day's the day after Christmas. Okay. And all too often as a kid, we would have had Christmas Day. We would have Christmas dinner, which is obviously a big deal, and we would have then went to our aunt and uncles and had a very similar sort of thing on Boxing Day. I think traditionally, what is the point of what is the? I think Boxing Day was traditionally the day when people would actually hand out gifts. So Christmas Day was the day of celebration, and Boxing Day was the gift giving day. But it's just all become Christmas Day for the most part.
Gotcha. Okay.
But and I know a lot of other people would do that. So it would be especially if people had partners, they would sometimes spend Christmas Day with one set of parents and then Boxing Day with the other. Alternate years.
Do you guys have Christmas Eve?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Is that a thing?
It is a thing. Yeah, no, definitely is a thing, and it's something that people. And there are
3 days of Christmas.
3 days of Christmas. I know.
We only have 2. We only have 2.
You need to get into this Boxing Day thing.
No.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't understand. I'm sorry, I hijacked your question, but where did Boxing Day? What's the history of Boxing Day? Do you know?
No, you're putting me in the spot.
Okay. Listeners, tell us what. Okay, well, I will respond to your question while you Google this.
No, I'm not. I'm just pulling out of my brain. How dare you?
Okay. I can see you Googling.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Okay, so Halloween this year, just to give you an example of just how much Christmas takes over. On Halloween, we forgot the little pumpkins for the kids, right? That they go trick-or-treating with. So Mike went to 5 different stores in our little town and went to the last store, and they got the last 2 little Halloween trick-or-treat bags. And he was so angry. They had to go to get them out of the back. And he's like, there are other parents, because it was already Christmas. They'd already taken down all the Halloween stuff. And he was like, there are other people that would spend money on Halloween stuff today. Like, you're missing out on, like, he was, yeah. He was
yeah, that's true.
carefully worded, constructive criticism
Nice.
to CBS. But it's just like, once Halloween happens, then it's all, the music starts.
Yep.
The attitude starts. Some people get really, like, after Thanksgiving, like on Black Friday or whatever, they start putting up the Christmas lights and the Christmas trees and, like, do the whole thing the whole month.
Wow.
There are other, and, you know, like, everyone's different. Every family's different. Some people don't really celebrate it very much, and other people go, like, all the way. So I'm not disrespecting anybody on how they decide to celebrate their festive season, but it definitely takes over. And there's a game. Have you heard about the Little Drummer Boy game?
I haven't. I'm familiar with the Little Drummer Boy, but not the game.
So it's like, it's basically like, how long can you get through the festive season without
Hearing that song.
that song, Little Drummer Boy. And so you'll see, like, people posting on social media, like Little Drummer Boy, I'm out. Like, they got me. So yeah.
I feel it's played as much, because I'm certainly familiar with that song, but I don't know if it is played as much over here. So you mean you probably? I feel like I've heard that game done, but with, like, what's the Mariah Carey Christmas song?
All I Want for Christmas Is You?
I feel like I've heard that game with that song.
I don't actually know if I've ever listened to the song. I don't know why I know that. Like, that was a total brain glitch.
Yeah, what, Mariah Carey or that song?
Yeah,
both. So Beth, I've just recalled from my brain that Boxing Day in Britain, it was a custom for tradesmen to collect Christmas boxes of money or presents on the first weekday. On the first weekday after Christmas, as thanks for good service throughout the year.
Oh, that's nice.
That's quite nice.
And so it's turned into, like, giving people stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, as they always do, you know.
Way to go, Amazon.
Right. I mean, I think that it's just such, and, like, I mean, certainly in my youth, it was very much a sort of, like, second Christmas almost. It was just another sort of day of celebration at somebody else's house. So, yeah.
Is there, like, sports that are being watched? Or is it just, like, you just eat too much and then you, like...
I mean, like, I'm the wrong guy to ask in that regard, because, like, there might be. I think there sometimes was football games or soccer games on. I know that. Oh, that's asking for trouble. Yeah. On Boxing Day, I think, but, like, I'm the wrong guy to ask, because, you know, I have, like, not a ton of interest in sports.
Yeah. Same.
But I think, but, like, I do know, for example, like, Thanksgiving there's always a big sort of watching. Oh, I'm gonna call it American football. Just gonna do it. Watching American football on Thanksgiving is a big deal. It's like part of the day, kind of almost. Yeah.
Yep. So, how and who do you celebrate with?
So I guess I celebrate with. I don't guess. I actually celebrate with my family. So I normally would have Christmas dinner with my parents. It has been, which is always nice. I always enjoy the day itself. It's great. I think, like, especially the period of time between Christmas Day and New Year's Day, I always find kind of difficult. It's just, like, sort of weird liminal space that is tough to navigate sometimes. But I like the day with my folks, and certainly I think one of the reasons, because we used to always, like, play games as well. So we would have Christmas Day and we would play, like, Scrabble or Cluedo, as we call it. You guys call it Clue, I think.
Mm-hmm. Cluedo?
Cluedo, we call it, yeah.
That sounds like a monster.
How dare you disparage Cluedo. Cluedo or Monopoly or what was maybe Scrabble sometimes. But, like, I think that is very much still my sort of love of board games. And, like, even to this day, I bring new games down, and we normally have like Christmas lunch, and then we play board games in the kind of like evening and like late afternoon.
It's lovely.
It's good. What about yourself?
I I leave the country.
Yes, you do. I forgot about that.
So it started. I think it started when we went to South Africa, and that was just like we had enough of a block of time off, and then we were like, wow, it's really nice to leave the country and not have to like deal with all of the, like, just the general attitude and we're both empaths, right? So I like feel the angst, and I feel the selfishness, and I feel like, I don't know.
There's the frustration that's kind of built into Christmas a lot of the time.
The expectations and all of that. And so we started. Mike lived in in the South Pacific. I've talked about this before. So we actually go there every year we've done as long as a month,
Nice.
as little as like 2.5 weeks. But we've done it every year with the kids, and we literally leave the country. The kids are allowed to ask for 2 presents from Santa because he comes by boat and can't carry that many,
Fair,
right?
fair.
And then we have to get the presents home, so they can't be big, right?
Yep.
So it's really not. It's just the 4 of us usually. It's not a big thing. We
Sounds
open
nice.
presents. I bring stockings, and we're friends with people there. And the sweet lady next door always brings gifts for the kids, and we always bring them like American stuff, and it's nice. It's
That sounds
nice.
lovely.
It is great. I will say, like, swimming on Christmas Day is great.
I'd say so. Yeah, I really would.
Yeah.
And I think I'd always quite liked the idea. I wasn't there for one of like an Australian kind of Christmas as well, which was like very much, it was warm, and I mean, it was very warm, but I always kind of liked the idea of that in theory as well. But it's kind of reminded me of I did a few years or where I wasn't at home for Christmas. And one of the kind of times I really fondly remember, and it was in South Korea, where me and kind of this group of English teachers who were out there had like a potluck, and we just kind of met at my apartment, and we all kind of brought like different dishes and things like that. And it was my first time ever doing a potluck. I had no idea even what the concept was until that day, and it was just like a lovely memory, and it's something that I have done occasionally when because certainly with working patterns, unfortunately this year I haven't been able to have like get-togethers or parties, but I would have on the lead up to Christmas maybe done a wee potluck, because it was always good fun. But in Taiwan, I had 2 Christmases there. One was kind of rough because there was nothing really planned, and it's not something they really celebrate. And I found it a little bit difficult. I was very kind of homesick that first year. Second year, I had a group of friends, and we did like a kind of there was like a American like rib joint, and they did like a Christmas dinner type thing for us, and there was like about 12 of us, and it was actually a really lovely day. So that was nice. I think it's just, I don't know, I think I kind of like a big group of people getting together. I think there was something special about that, particularly. But I think I need to do something to mark the occasion, certainly anyway, or else I find it particularly, tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I've got a question that will kind of lead into that, but do you have like best memories of like the festive season as like a kid or even as an adult?
But I do feel like I've talked about this before, but I have such a memory of, I mean, it's all gift related, like it really is. Like I think we talked about this maybe in another episode where I talked about like seeing a Lego train set built, and I'm like so thrilled to see that. That's such a kind of core memory for me. But like I have fond memories of, especially when I was younger, going around seeing all my family, good excuse to see my aunt and uncle, and or say aunt and uncles rather, I should say, and spending time with them and stuff like that. I just kind of liked the kind of flow of that day. We kind of had a pattern of it where it would be like, we would get up, we would get presents, hooray, presents, then we would get ready, we would go and visit our various sort of family members. We would get my granny and my granda, and we would like take them down to the house, and then we would just kind of like hang out, play with their toys, have like some delicious dinner, and it was just a kind of nice, you know, I know that is especially when I was younger, and I think that is the real sort of magical time for Christmas is when you're a kid. It really is kind of like exciting and fun, you know, but then it just becomes, you know, lessons, I think, over time. Mm-hmm. What about you?
Yeah, I remember, I think it was really, because when we lived in Kentucky, I mean, we didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
And so it was always just the four of us. And I loved that as a kid, just like, yeah, that first morning. And sometimes we'd be in North Carolina, depending on, we did a lot of that actually, because that was when my parents had time off at the college. But I loved it being the four of us. I loved, you know, that waking up and like being so excited that there were presents under the tree. And then really it was just like us spending the day together, playing games, playing with toys, you know, listening to Frank Sinatra. And I remember, I do have this memory, our next door neighbors, when we moved to Oregon, like their kids were little and they wanted that to get them excited about Christmas. And so they gave us sleigh bells. And my dad pretended to be Santa. And so they like brought the kids out because we rang the sleigh bells. And then my dad was like, ho, ho, ho. And we like, you could hear the kids. And they were like, Santa's like freaking out. Oh my God, it's Santa's here. And it was just like hiding, you know, like hiding behind the fence and like being so excited to hear their excitement. That was a good holiday memory.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah,
but I really just like not being in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Mike and I, like, we don't get each other anything. Our gift to each other is just like this time that we spend just together without, you know, and like he has to work and like I've had to work back when I was working, but it's just easy and pleasant and the food is amazing. So
yeah, that sounds fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think in the long run I would quite like to start spending this period of time away. Like last year I'd said I didn't want to spend Christmas here. This year I am going to, but then I'm going to Scotland, as I said before, you know, for that period between Boxing Day to after New Year's. Yeah,
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And it is, like, I think for a lot of people it is, you know, I always think about the people that, you know, don't have families that are as close, or I know for a lot of people, like, it's just a hard time of year on a lot of levels. So
it is. I want to talk about that like in more detail. I think one of the things because I feel like it would be of interest to you, or I'm sure it is that Mike has asked me, my friend who I'm going over to visit, one of my friends going to visit, has asked me to go to a ceilidh on New Year's Eve. So it basically is a kind of traditional Scottish or Irish sort of gathering where it involves like dancing and sort of like traditional Irish and kind of Scottish music.
What's it called?
A ceilidh.
A ceilidh?
No, sorry, not the bit, just ceilidh.
Ceilidh.
Yeah, you will never, not in your wildest imaginations would you be able to spell this correctly.
Okay. Like crack.
It's an Irish term. I will send you the spelling of it. But
okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, he was like, do you want to go to a ceilidh? And I was like, sure, absolutely, let's do it. So I'm quite looking forward to that. It'll be a nice way to spend New Year's, I think.
Yeah. You know, yeah. So I want to talk about food.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like traditional holiday food?
Yes. Well, it's different for me now, but like certainly it would be very much our traditional kind of like Christmas spread would be a turkey, obviously. We would also do ham, like a Christmas ham. Is that a American thing? Do you have
Yeah.
Christmas songs?
Yep. Yep.
We would have like mashed potato, roast potatoes. We'd have like what do you call? We like bacon wrapped around sausages.
Dates. Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
So like meat wrapped around meat.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know it's insane. We would have other sort of veg. Brussels sprouts is a really traditional one in this country.
You guys are just so gross.
Oh, it's awful. I mean, I used to hate them. I have started to come around to Brussels sprouts now. Like once I started preparing them, like with like butter and like other sort of nice and crisping them up and stuff like that. I have come around to them. But like
same.
Ordinarily they were awful. And
it took me to like year 30 before I ate Brussels sprouts. So
yeah. They're tough work, and especially if they're cooked poorly, there's nothing worse. Like, we would have boiled. A starter. Oh, like so much stuff is boiled in this country. It's not. I mean, it's not quite as much anymore. But like Northern Ireland in particular, it was like, here's your veg. How has it been prepared? It's been boiled. Amazing. I can't wait for this. So like we would have a starter. Sometimes you get like we started getting like prawn cocktail in like recent years, but like we would maybe have a like soup as well, like a vegetable soup. Then as your dessert, we would have Christmas pudding with brandy sauce, which is my favorite. Do you have Christmas pud?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
You know what it is?
No.
Okay.
Is it blood pudding?
No. It is a sweet thing though. Apparently
is it like creme brulee or something?
No. Not at all. It's like
It's like
is it
kind sweet?
Of yes. Oh. It's kind of really rich, like almost like a really rich heavy fruit cake. So it's like it's like normally soaked in brandy. Sometimes we've done it before. Like before you eat it, you set it on fire. You put some brandy over it. You set it on fire. So you get a show and dessert at the same time. And it's pretty awesome. It's not for everyone, but it's one of my favorite parts of like Christmas dinner.
Okay.
What do we?
So we used to do the traditional, like as a kid, traditional. I don't like ham, so we would do. It was like, but like we would do turkey, but we'd already done turkey like the month before, so it was kind of like, yay, more turkey. But now we. So I'm gonna try and say this right, because. Maria is a French Polynesian territory. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of the French influence from France, and so we have a Christmas bûche de Noël that we decorate. It's like a Yule log, but they they gave it a beautiful name. And so we have these little like plastic figures that we collect every year. We get another bûche de Noël. We decorate it, keep them, and then in a little baggie that we obviously wash them. But so yeah, the kids, like that's a thing that we do, that they get to decorate it. But it's like, it's covered in like tiara flowers too, and it's beautiful. So I have lots of photos of the bûche. And then Mike he usually makes like sashimi on a bed of cabbage.
Nice.
It's so good. It's so good. It's just like raw tuna, and we love it. It's so freaking good. So we don't do the traditional Christmas dinner anymore, but it's interesting. Like in French Polynesia, like oysters are a huge thing.
Oh wow.
So like you cannot like. Everyone is eating oysters, and they're flown in from New Zealand, and it's like they're all frozen, but I'm not sure how you cook a frozen oyster. Chefs, please let me know. But it's just interesting to see, like in another culture, like what they're all about, and definitely like sashimi, oysters, and bûche de Noël. So
I should say, I mean, like certainly my. Like Let's Just See Me sounds amazing, but like my current Christmas dinner is not like that because I'm not eating meat anymore, so like, right. It's always trickier to kind of know what to eat. But like in the past few years, my mom has went to like incredible sort of lengths to like make me something that's suitable for me, and I'm like, don't worry about it,
Yeah.
But it's nice. You can get some nice like nut roast things and stuff like that are quite good, and like because I still eat fish occasionally, like that's a sashimi platter sounds amazing.
It's so good. It's like I don't eat sushi here really
Yeah.
in the States just because it's the difference is
I'll bet.
staggering.
Yeah.
So, it's fresh.
It's like, well, certainly when I was in, Asia, like South Korea, Taiwan, and things like that.
Totally.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So good. And it was, because I sushi in this country, I think it's probably the same as yourselves, is seen as like a pretty expensive sort of high quality sort of, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me, especially here, because we're like surrounded by oceans. And you'd think seafood would be plentiful and easier to access, but, who knows?
Maybe it's the amount of effort it takes to make it.
I suppose that's true, yeah. But
that goes for all food, really.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, I don't understand it fully. Something, and we've went way past this, but it is food related. That I wanted to mention was, so you were talking about pumpkins for Halloween earlier. So you definitely get pumpkins more now these days that people use and they carve and whatnot. But we used to use turnips. What? Beth's like, what's turnip? Turnip is.
I know what a turnip is. I'm just like, why?
Oh,
they're not.
I don't know.
I
think they're not.
It's cute.
Yeah, but they're like, they're scarier, so maybe that makes sense than a pumpkin, But you don't have quite as much of a canvas with a pumpkin compared to like a.
Sorry, I have to go. You keep talking. I'm googling turnip.
What turnip is. So turnip, I guess, is also, I've heard them called swedes as well. I think swedes is kind of a more universal term for this.
It looks like an onion.
Yeah, it's not an attractive looking.
But it's firm. It doesn't have the rings. Okay.
It doesn't.
So you would carve a turnip?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so hard. They're so little.
And you couldn't put any sort of artistic flair on your turnip, really. And I speak, from my experience anyway.
You're just like, get your Sharpie out and be like, here's the face.
If it kind of has eyes and a mouth, you're like doing good, That was my experience. But I wonder, I'm going to have to see. My mom may have pictures of some of our prepared turnips, so I must see if I can fish those out, yeah.
Your childhood Halloween turnip.
Our childhood works of art. But yeah, I
did not know that.
I know, yeah. Because like I was listening to an American podcast recently. They were talking about it. They were like, "What did like Irish people traditionally carve at Halloween?" And I was like, "Oh, I know this is turnips." And they were like, turnips? And they're like, what? What is it? Like, insanity. And I was like, that happened within my lifetime. I did that.
Right. You're like, that was me.
Yeah, that was my experience.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask, what do you like and dislike? What are your likes and your dislikes about the festive season?
So I like, and it's not happened so much this year, and it's partially because I've been very busy, is that I like in the lead up to Christmas as the excuse to see people and I often have like organized nights out or so like with some of my different friend groups organizing dinners together and stuff like that. Like there was one happened Saturday just past that I missed unfortunately, just because I've been busy with other stuff. I'm planning to make sure that doesn't happen again because I've really missed those things. So I really love that. I really love that excuse to like go out, spend time with people. I really do. I also love the day itself, spending time with my parents. So those are kind of my favorite things. I definitely am doing things that are bringing me that experience this year, but not to the level of my kind of satisfaction, I guess. Mm-hmm. What I don't like is I find
there's no turnip carving.
There's no turnip carving. Yeah, I'm like, where are the turnips? They've all been put into stews, and it's it's a disgrace. It's a real waste.
Boil them.
It's a real waste of a turnip, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
When you could be eating delicious boiled turnip, yeah. So I think is that I don't know. There is so much sort of enforced joy at Christmas. There's so much like. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't life grand? And I find that really oppressive and kind of
It's
quite
the most
depressing.
wonderful time of the year.
Don't you understand? It's like holding me by the collar and telling me I should be joyful. Okay, I'll be joyful. But I find, it to be quite a lonely time of year. I find it can be quite depressing, to be perfectly honest. I don't know that I've always felt like that. I think there's been times in my life when I've quite looked forward to Christmas, but I think that certainly in recent years I found them tough. I find them tougher, I think, over the certainly the past 5 or 6 years in particular. And it's a shame because I have periods of time where I really love this time of year. I really kind of love spending time with I love. There are always parts of it I do enjoy, but it's the times whenever you're going home and you're like, oh, okay. Magnify the loneliness, magnify the sense of not having joy, particularly at certain times. So it's a tough one to navigate. It really is.
I would agree with that.
What?
And I think part of the reason I leave the country is because I have a PhD in avoidance.
I hear you.
And it's like, well, let me start. I'm going to start with my likes. I like that we're now creating like our own way of celebrating.
Yeah.
And doing it our own way. And showing the kids that they can do it their own way. And, they watch the Christmas movies and they see how Christmas is done in like Home Alone, right? When you like abandon your child at the airport. That's Home Alone too.
Are you
sorry?
Are you? No. I think it happens in both. Are you using that as like a cautionary tale? Like, wait, like, look, see.
I did say that. I was like, this is why I'm always like, hold on to me when we're like getting the bags and like hold on to my sweater or whatever. But they love like the slapstick aspect. And so like we're probably gonna we watch all the Christmas Story movies but their experiences, they've had one normal Christmas that they both remember, and that was during COVID, but the rest of the time they we do it our own way,
and that's as it should be. Do you know what I mean? And I think like it is it's really true about so many things. It's like, well, this is what we do for Christmas, and nobody's like, well, why? And it's just like, well, because it's always all we've always done. It's like, well, okay, but is that good? Is that bad? There's no real examination of it, and and of the sort of complexity, I guess, in terms of how it affects people in different ways. But yeah, and I think that that happens obviously with a lot of things, not just Christmas, but it's just
true. It's true.
It's just, I don't know, because of the what is fundamental to Christmas is the idea of joy, or everybody coming together, and you can see how that can easily turn sour, and how that can easily go the other way, and it's a shame because it feels like it should be a space to be more kind of inclusive and kind of connected to a range of experiences that people have, but it's just oftentimes it leaves a lot of people kind of out in the cold.
It's true. Another thing I like is that I don't have to celebrate winter solstice.
Oh yeah.
I get to celebrate summer solstice twice because I'm on the other side of the planet.
That's true.
It's so great. So everyone else is like, winter solstice, and I'm like, nope.
Not for me.
Like, happy summer solstice. And I'm such a snot. I'm such a bee, but I get some joy out of that.
Yeah.
And then it's nice just to have the time because, we run away and avoid. It's like, it's also time for our family to like do a reset. And they're older now, the kids are, so we can kind of talk about like what kind of year we want to have, and I talk through like what travel is going to happen this year, which is obviously already started because I may come and see you in April.
Yes.
But that's because he's going to be in Okinawa, and he was like, if I do this, then you get to go somewhere, and he was like, I think I can get you to see Andy on without like you having to pay for the flight because he's got
awesome.
miles. So I know. So this is his idea. So yeah, avoidance is great. I like that. My dislikes. The commercialization, the stress, the expectations of your time, and how, I just to kind of echo what you were saying about how it's not a very inclusive time of year for people, and it is depressing, and it is lonely, and it is those things, and no amount of holiday songs will change that.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm such a bummer, but
No. It's almost like the opposite can even apply. It's like you're just getting bombarded with it, and you're like, okay, enough already.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to put into words.
The cynic in me as well is the like, so like with Christmas songs especially, it's like if you make a Christmas song, you're going to be living off those royalties forever, quite possibly, because they're never going to stop being played if it's reasonably popular.
It's like the Beatles singing the Happy Birthday song, right?
Yeah.
And actually, Happy Birthday is copyrighted. Did you know that?
I understand. I did know that. Yeah.
And the family never gets royalties. I mean, not from all of us who are we're singing it every year, and I don't pay the family.
All right, okay, yeah. But I think if you sing it on film or recording, you've got to pay them. Yeah,
you do have to pay. And I used to do some of that work, and I remember. I'm digressing very far away, but I worked at a college that we were celebrating the centennial, and so we had a big movie in the quad for everyone in all of Portland to come and watch, and apparently Harrison Ford had filmed a movie there, and I am totally forgetting my point. What were we talking about? This is my COVID brain coming back. No, I'm losing it.
We're talking about Christmas music. We're talking about specifically carols, how they make you feel. You went somewhere, and Harrison Ford was filming in this place.
Yeah, no, I lost it. It'll come back at some other point. Okay, I have a question that is unrelated to anything. What are the paper hats about?
Oh God. Okay, yeah. So we need to talk about.
Is that New Year's? Is it birthdays? Is it?
We need to talk about Christmas crackers. We need to take this back a few steps.
Okay.
So
back it up. What is a Christmas cracker, and why does everyone wear these dopey, silly looking hats?
So the hats are just a part of the whole Christmas cracker of it all. Basically, so Christmas crackers are, how do I describe them? They're a cylinder. They are kind of tapered at each end. There's kind of handles on each end. It's very look them up. I'm going to butcher the description of them.
Okay.
Basically how it works is that with your Christmas cracker, you give somebody the other end, and you pull the Christmas cracker, and it will break on one of these two handles, and somebody will end up with the center part of the cracker, and they've won, I guess. I can't remember. There's more significance to it than that, but so basically, if you pull a cracker and you get the other end, you win whatever's in prizes or in the inside. Oftentimes they will be a toy, or it's the biggest amount of freaking tat in most crackers. So it's you'll get nail clippers, or you'll get a comb, or you'll get a plastic toy car or some nonsense. You will get a joke, which is always awful.
Okay.
And you will get a paper hat.
Okay.
And obviously we're pretty equitable with the hats, so even if you lose, you're gonna get a hat to wear. But my sort of problem with the hat is my head's so big that hats, they do not fit me. Also, I just rip the paper hats trying to put them on, or they have to sit back.
You are jaunty with your hat.
I was gonna say Biggie or something, just like Biggie, and so and that's it. So that's what the paper hats are. They're from crackers, and I guess it's just to go along with the whole celebratory nature of Christmas Day type thing. So yeah. I don't know
It did
why.
not. It's not caught on here.
I know that. I'm surprised because crackers seem like the sort of thing that would probably go quite well. Like,
People love buying stuff.
they do. Yeah.
So I'm surprised that it hasn't made its way here, honestly.
I think Canadians do it, I think.
Well, they're part of the
The Commonwealth?
yeah. But not that means that, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Canadians, do you Christmas cracker?
Yeah.
Bendy needs to know.
Yeah, it's very important for research. But yeah, no, that's where the paper hats come from.
Okay.
The Christmas song I was going to say that I do quite like is, and just because there's a layer of like abstraction to it, is Feliz Navidad, which you don't hear very often in this country, not quite as much. I heard it like more in the US on the lead up to Christmas, but like it's nice. It's a nice one.
I love that one. I took Spanish for like 8 years, and so I know it very well.
Nice.
So I'll sing it for you, but not now.
We'll wait for a singing episode. Yeah.
Feliz Navidad. Okay. So how would you feel if there were no holidays?
I mean,
I wipe it from the board.
I think overall I would be pleased. I am pretty good at spending time with people and organizing things with people. Anyway, I like it. I like having an excuse, and that kind of gives me it. But I think if there was an absence of that, I would just do it anyway. So I think for the freedom of spending time with people that I care about, whenever, without the extra pressures that come with Christmas and all the crap that comes with it. So I think I would prefer no holidays.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun with the kids, but I know at some point that will shift. And we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving this year because we all had COVID, and it was just like no one felt like no one could eat. So it was just like we just didn't do it, and it was just kind of like cool, okay, so I would be cool if it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think and it's like, and I am very happy that people enjoy it, and there may be a stage where I kind of go back to kind of quite enjoying it again as well, but I just feel like the pressure is bad, and it gets worse as kind of time goes on as well, it really does.
Do you think for you it's the pressure to be like happy?
Yeah. I think that's definitely part of it anyway. Yeah. It's just that sort of enforced. I mean, like, enforced anything's bad, but like enforced happiness seems particularly cruel, It really does. And also counterintuitive in a lot of ways,
Totally. So if you could make your perfect festive season, what would that look like?
Ooh, I gotta think about that. Oh no, I'll just work out the process in talking. I guess it would be, I would just love the opportunity to I think I would maybe like a week, right? And in that time, I would get to do activities with my friends. Like, very lucky to have, many kind of wonderful groups of friends, and some of them move in very different circles. So like, it's always been funny sometimes whenever I have parties, because like people from wildly different backgrounds are together, and it doesn't always work. It only works for me, but it doesn't always work for everybody else. Right. So it would be nice to just have the excuse to spend just within a week. I would like go to one, I would go and spend time, do maybe like a yoga retreat type thing with some yoga friends. Then I would just go and do some like with my like video game sort of friends, just like last year we like dressed in suits and went axe throwing, things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like stuff. I
saw photos of that. Looks amazing.
It was great fun. No, it was 2 years ago. Wow. But like just things like that. I just kind of want to kind of have a reason to spend time with people I care about and do things that, you know, are meaningful to us, you know.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
What about you?
I think I'm already doing my perfect festive season.
Yeah. I think you are. It's a good one.
Yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't really change a thing. Except for maybe we would just leave earlier.
Yeah. Just stay there for like 3 months.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Just right.
Those are the questions I have for you.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
I think, I mean, like, I had wanted to ask about, because I think it's sometimes unclear for people here, the distinction between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like, in the UK, I think they are very much the same thing. Like, I think, you know, like, spiritually, there's kind of the same thing. Like, it's all about getting together as family to eat. But are they both kind of like that? Traditionally?
They are. I mean, the history is. I don't know if I'm going to speak to the history. It's very complicated.
No, I guess I'm just talking
to
about
answer
the
your question.
version of it.
Yeah, the overall purpose nowadays is to get together and spend time together and eat. Yeah.
Because I guess then my question is, does that make one or two of them feel a wee bit redundant or kind of unnecessary? Do you know what I mean? If they're both kind of fulfilling the same sort of thing, is there? I mean,
I would say no. I Christmas feels different.
Okay.
Because there are presents involved.
Yes.
Because people are spending a lot of money.
Getcha.
The expectations, I think, are higher.
That makes sense.
Because of that. And, you know, depending on your religion, you know, you're actually celebrating the birth of Jesus.
Yep.
I don't want to get into too much trouble there.
No. I think you're fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. I suppose, I suppose just very generally, of course, because everyone's experience is different. Thanksgiving is kind of about meeting with your family and having a big meal, generally. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, literally. Like, it's just it's about gratitude.
Yeah.
And I think that's how most homes and families celebrate it.
It's I think
the history is complicated.
Sure. No, and I know that it is. Yeah, I know that it is. I suppose I'm just, and I mean, like, I suppose even the history of, so many friggin' holidays is kind of complicated. Not particularly great a lot of the times.
Right.
But like what they have become is always kind of quite interesting to me. And like I hear we hear about Christmas over here as well. Is that like people dread it a little bit. Sometimes again, generally speaking, in terms of like, I have to sit around with my uncle who I haven't seen in a year, and I have to hear about his views on X, Y, Z.
Yeah, like
it was.
So here, like Thanksgiving, I'm not saying it's not full of pressure.
Yeah.
Because the airports are insane. Like, that's the time where everyone's flying. And yeah, especially right now, just given like the political culture and the nature of everything that's going on in our country. You know, it's like, how are people going to get through a meal with their uncle or aunt or whoever who has differing beliefs?
Yeah.
And like, that's a whole thing. And you know, there's a lot there. You know, I think that things are shifting a little bit because people don't even want to have the conversations. And so, you know, I think there's a little bit of disconnect, and people are starting to do things a little bit differently because of that. So
it's always such a funny dynamic, you know, in terms of like, it's a day for giving thanks ostensibly, and it's actually a sort of you're having to navigate this kind of tricky.
Well, I have a friend who works for the sheriff's department. And he's like, Thanksgiving, we get so many calls because there's so many domestic violence.
Yeah.
There's so many families that are fighting over whatever topic, and they can't, you know, everyone's drinking. And then he's like, it's a very, very busy day.
Which is,
and I'm like, Fabulous.
Thanks, everybody.
Yay.
So funny.
So yeah.
But very much we wish everybody out there has a nice and pleasant Thanksgiving and Christmas and festive period, no matter what you're doing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I would just say, like, do it your own way.
Yes, exactly.
Just ratchet it down, people.
Yes.
Doesn't need to be everything to everyone.
Exactly. Like all these things, just as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else. Just
yeah.
Just have fun. Yeah. So I think we're about time to move on to talking about dreaded things.
Speaking of a joyful time of year.
And our favorite questions, our favorite topics. Beth, what's been bringing you joy this week?
So I had this is like sad and happy. Mm-hmm. Yesterday was the anniversary of my dad's death.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And Mike had left to go to the airport, and the kids were watching some Christmas movie. Okay. And I went in the kitchen and just I'd given my dad my pink iPod in 2007, and my mom or my sister had given it to me to try and pull the music off of it. Mm-hmm. And so I was in the kitchen and I was like, oh my God, I have that iPod that I haven't listened to in 16 years. And because I just haven't been able to. And I was like, and I have the same charger because I still have I still have my original iPod.
Amazing.
I know. And it's still full of music. And
nice.
So I put it on and it came on. And so it was the music that he would take walks to. It was also music that he would take walks to while he knew he was dying of cancer.
Wow.
So it was kind of heavy and loaded, and of course all these opera songs come on, and I'm in the kitchen wearing my nightgown, and just I go in the laundry room and I'm crying, and the kids come in, they're like, what's going on? And I'm like, and I'm honest, I'm just it's Grandpa Chip's, it's the anniversary of when he died, and I'm just sad. And then they were like, well, let's dance.
Nice.
And I was like, okay. So and then all of a sudden Miles Davis, no, what was it? Oh, I can't remember. Anyways, it was disco came on, and Miles Davis came, all these other, songs, and we literally had a dance party. And so I was something where I was just okay, I'll go cry by myself. The kids and I turned it into a moment where it was we danced for an hour, I think. Awesome. I let him stay up late. The dog ate Charlie's dinner.
Nice.
Because we were just it was really cathartic and therapeutic. So I told my mom this, but I'm gonna pull that. I've got the playlist. I can, so I was like, how do you listen to music? Do CDs?
Yeah.
Apple. So I'm going to make an Apple playlist, and I'm going to send that to them so that they have it too.
No, I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah. So it's bittersweet joy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's nice.
As close to joy as I can get, Andy.
Yep. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take any of that as close as we can get to that joy.
Yeah. So what about you?
I'm going to do one because, I've talked about it before, but I don't think, from our last episode, which we
I know.
I'm going to bring it up again just because I think it's quite lovely, especially at this time of year, and it's always something it's something that keeps being in my head. But there was a comic book I read a while ago called, it's called 8 Billion Genies, not 6 billion genies. So basically, it was the comic series was 8 issues long. It was the Earth's population got to 8 billion. When it did, each human got a genie and was given one wish. And as the series went on, it was presented that basically this was a way to kind of reset the Earth, because once the Earth was getting really to that overpopulated limit, this was a way to kind of like, go take those numbers down a bit, because like people would, wish for dumb stuff.
Right.
So, it's cautionary tale in a lot of ways, but as it goes on, you kind of find that it's about finding this kind of perfect wish. That's what their ultimate goal is. And it gets to the very last... this is a spoiler for 8 Billion Genies, which is a good comic series if you're interested, but it's not a massive spoiler. But it gets to the final wish, and the final wish I thought was really beautiful, has really stayed with me, and it essentially goes like this, which is that I wish that everyone loved the way they would like to be loved. And I was like, perfect. Or the way they want to be loved.
Can you say that? I want to get it in my brain. Can you repeat that?
So I wish that everyone loved the way they want to be loved.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And I think it's a nice way to think about love as well. I think it's, it spoke to me because I think it's kind of like how I love, and I do try to like, tell people if and when I can. Obviously it's a tricky word to navigate a lot of the time because it's so loaded, you know what I mean? But I think it kind of expresses that but I think I kind of try to treat people with love, and I thought that was a really lovely way of thinking about it conceptually,
I think that's a great way to end this episode about the things that we were talking about.
Yes.
Too. I think it's really timely.
I think so. I think it's a good one that I go back to, especially at this time of year when things are tough. It's a nice way to think about the world,
I don't have an answer for that.
Mm-hmm. What was going on in the background there?
Alexa, oh no, she's gonna shout at me again. Oh no, I really need to unplug Alexa in this room. She's gonna make a fool out of me. Alexa, you're
gonna steal our podcast.
Alexa, you're
pass it off
unplugged.
as her own.
Jeff Bezos is gonna come around and hey,
he's outside your door right now.
Yeah, he's there. He's so muscly.
It's him.
But anyway, folks,
good.
So yes, lovely to chat to you as always. We hope that you have a nice festive season no matter what you're doing. And as we said at the start of the show, if you have other festive traditions or you celebrate in any ways this time of year, we'd kind of love to hear about it.
Yeah, and we'll share whatever you send our way. So
yes.
Let's educate and I'm curious and entertain.
Yeah, it is. It's always Let's do
Look at us.
I know, aren't we?
Okay.
Okay, folks. So, as always, we would like you to stay Bendy. Yeah, that was pretty good. Self-review.
Okay, good.
Excellent.
Good.
Bye.
Excellent. Nice work.
We love you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Bendy, a Beth and Andy podcast. We are so grateful to all of you who have listened, commented, and sent us messages. You have started to build a community. We are asking our amazing friends and listeners to please subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and YouTube. Follow us on social media to keep up to date on what interesting things we're up to. Also, it will help us to keep this podcast rolling if you subscribe and share with your friends. You can listen to all of our episodes and submit ideas for future podcast topics at bendypodcast.com. Next week's episode focuses on the slinging slang, where we toss words at each other from Ireland and the USA and try and figure out what the heck the other person is saying. Find out who wins the first slang battle, hear Beth rap about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, more about the Halloween turnip, and why we need subscribers so we can buy costumes for our dogs. Be sure to tune in, and as always, thank you for being here with us. You always have a friend with Bendy.